Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and today we're answering a user submitted question about when do you make it official with your partner? It's a really good question. It's going to be different for everybody, and I will give you my personal experience, my personal advice, and then a little bit of just general wisdom and or attempted wisdom, I suppose. So my personal experience, I have been in 3 major relationships in my life, committed relationships, and each one was very different. The first relationship, we dated for 3 months and then made it official, and we were together for 2.5 years. So not bad, you know. I felt like 3 months was pretty good. This was my first relationship, first kiss, like first everything. And I feel like that was a good amount of time to really get to know this person. I met their parents and friends and everyone in between and really kind of integrated into their life, and they integrated into my life. And within 3 months of knowing this person, I was very much ready to be in a relationship with them. And I think it went really well. This relationship ended for various reasons, but I think 3 months of dating in that specific situation where we were basically living together every day, and we met each other's family and friends, and we integrated into each other's worlds. I think that really helped because it gave me a really fast insight into who the person was and whether I wanted to spend my life with them. So that was for experience number 1. Experience number 2, we basically dated for a month and then we called it off mutually, which was kind of interesting. And we didn't talk or see each other for 4 months. And then we decided to jump into a relationship, and essentially that took about 3 months. So it was a bit of a stop and start kind of situation, but again, very similar. You know, I like to have like 3 or 4 months at least of knowing the person and getting to know who they are, who's in their world, what they believe in, how they act, how they sleep. You know, there's a whole bunch of little factors that do contribute to being in a good relationship and deciding to commit to one person. So again, it was a pretty good experience. We were together for about 9-10 months after that. So the whole relationship took about a year. That sounds weird saying it like that. The whole relationship lasted about a year. And again, it was sort of a mutual breakup that we realized we weren't compatible in some ways. So we moved on. The third relationship was problematic. We essentially decided to be in a committed relationship after a week of knowing each other. That wasn't necessarily by choice. It was a bit of a coercive tactic on the other person's part, where they essentially told me like, well, if we're not committed, I don't want anything. And I was intrigued by this person. I was interested. I'd only known them for a week, which was insane. Let me stress, it was insane for me as a person who likes to take, a bit of time to get to know somebody. So it ended very poorly within 2 months, and I regret how I acted. I regret how this other person acted. It was a very interesting situation with a bunch of twists and turns that were not in our control whatsoever. There was a lot of stuff outside of our relationship that contributed to the problems that we ended up having. So yeah, not my best work, not his best work, but we're both adults and we've moved on with our lives. That's all you can do. Now, that's my experience. And so as you know from my experience now, you know that I like to take some time. And I don't necessarily equate time with the absolute requirement. Like, if you get to know somebody, like I said, you get to know who they are as a person, what they believe in. You meet their family and friends, the people close to them. You understand how they start to see the world. You understand how they interact with one another and with other people in their life. If you have a really good understanding of that and they have a good understanding on your side as well, I see no problem with getting into a relationship within a month. I honestly don't. I know it's a bit controversial to say, but if you truly feel like you know somebody and know who they are genuinely, there is nothing wrong with deciding to be in a committed relationship. That being said, if you don't know somebody very well and you've been kind of loosely dating for 6 months, but hey, it's 6 months, so we should get into a relationship, you've kind of failed the assignment. If you really don't know who the person is and you don't like the person, or you don't have this growing admiration or love, what are you doing? I have one set of grandparents that waited 8 years to get to start like fully dating and then marriage. And my other set of grandparents got married within 6 months. So both sets of grandparents had marriages of 64 years plus. 2 of them are still going. But one had like an incredibly fast marriage, and the other set took their time. They both worked out, as far as I know. I talked to my grandparents last week, and they said that they were really happy with their choice. So the whole idea of time as like when's the right time to ask my person to be my boyfriend or be my girlfriend, you're kind of missing the point. It's not about time at all. It's about getting to know somebody, getting to know their world, and deciding like, hey, this person is so interesting and I'm so into them. I'd like to kind of be in a committed relationship with them. That's kind of the most important factor. If you need some timeline, like if you're one of these people that just needs a strict timeline of when do I ask this person, if you get to know them really well, there's nothing wrong with doing it in a month. If you want to take your time and build something a bit longer, my best advice is 3 to 6 months. That's just how I am. I also live in the middle of nowhere, so I don't have the ability to go on a date with somebody 3 times a week for 5 weeks. So typically like my time spent seeing somebody is reserved for a weekend or, a quick getaway, and those don't happen very often. So my dating timeline might be a bit skewed because of the logistics, because of who I am as a person, because of how I like to get to know somebody before getting too serious. But if you live in a city and you go on 3 dates with this person every single week, and you get to know their friends and family, and you get to go on these fun little dates and everything, I don't see anything wrong with getting like committed within a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it is. And I also want to stress that there are those people out there who take a really long time. They take 6 months, a year and a half to really get to know somebody. While personally for me, that's too long to be deciding whether I want to be with somebody or not, there is nothing wrong inherently with taking some serious time. There is nothing wrong with really trying to figure out who somebody is. My uncle is another person who's been in a relationship his entire life, high school sweethearts, like with my aunt, and he absolutely swears by the idea that you need to know somebody for at least 1 calendar year before you get serious. He absolutely swears by this. He's been with my aunt for 45 years, longer than that even, and he absolutely swears by this. You need to know somebody for a year to really know who they are. And I would largely agree with this. I think in my long relationship that lasted 2.5, 3 years, I think our relationship definitely evolved and changed over the course of our first year. And after the first year, it kind of got to this point where we both really were comfortable with each other, and we knew each other super, super well, and we knew each other's habits and when one of us was feeling off. And we got to a level of sort of depth in our relationship that I don't think I've ever reached yet again. So take it with a grain of salt. You know, do what's right for you. If you know the person and you feel like you love them and trust them and want to be with them, there's nothing wrong with making it official and doing the whole boyfriend, girlfriend, partner thing. But if deep down in your heart you feel like it's too soon and you don't know this person very well and you're unsure, stick with that. You know, don't rush into something, because that is the only surefire way that it won't work out, is if you rush into something that you just feel you're not ready for. And there's nothing wrong with not being ready. Don't let anybody shame you and say that you should feel something for them by now or any of this stuff. If you're not ready, you're not ready, and your feelings are 100% valid. That's all I can say. Leave your advice for everyone else down below. If there's something you feel like I've missed or something that you want to emphasize or really stress, leave it down below. Be respectful, be kind with everyone else. We're all doing this life thing for the first time. We're all first-time lifers, as far as we know, unless you believe in reincarnation and have access to your past lives. I wish, but I don't. So be respectful, be kind. Leave your advice, your stories, your knowledge and wisdom down below. And please feel free to critique or suggest things that maybe I'm lacking or maybe I'm missing in this discussion. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you, and I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day.